The sheer amount of meta diversity right now is going to make this look like one of the coolest regionals you've had the chance to see. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So overall representation for this regional, 13% was Fire King. We had Labyrinth coming in at 7%, with Manadium directly behind it at 7%. So your three largest represented decks. I mean, Fire King taking a very large chunk out of the meta, which is genuinely kind of shocking to me. And then actually Branded and Flunderies coming in 4th and 5th in overall representation. I mean, a lot of people tend to want to stick to, old reliable. Also, Flunderies right now kind of feels like a little bit of a safe bet. Now, interestingly enough, Rescue's only had 5% representation. That's a huge drop off. More people heading towards Fire Kings. Purely out here with a 4% representation. And then the rest of your meta actually ended up being 52% other, which is kind of interesting to say the least here. Now, your overall top 24 here. Fire Kings coming in at, what you thought was number one. Manadium is actually your biggest representation here, followed by Rescue Ace, Fire Kings, Labyrinth, and Runic tied, with actually having 3 variants each in the top cut for this, which actually is not bad. Now, your one-of section here, one Flunderies did creep on in to the top cut, which I'm honestly fine with seeing that. I think it's good. We also had a Purely doing its thing here. And then we had one Trap Tricks, a Dragon Link, and what's going to shock a lot of people here is, yes, we actually had a an Altergeist list creeping on into top 24 as well. Somebody was able to get their invite with that, which is actually amazing. But overall, you have some problems, but the meta looks good. Let's pass on over to top 8. Winning our regional here was actually Labyrinth, and I'm genuinely impressed to see this. We actually are playing one of the shufflers in the main deck here, giving you the chance to kind of go ahead and reset. You do see we are playing Magic Deflector, Anti-Spell Fragrances, all the good stuff that makes Labyrinth into this very powerful annoyance that, forces your opponent into a bad decision. And of course, look at those extras, alright? Full value out here. Now, second place out here is actually another Labyrinth. This build extends out with another one of your shufflers, getting you the chance to reset those resources. And then you see Gozen and Rivalry being 2 additional floodgates that this deck is actually playing. And of course, I do see Full Force Virus down here, making a special guest appearance, which is actually phenomenal to say the least. But both of these builds will be changing very, very shortly into the next evolutions. Now, we also had Rescue Ace making a top 8 appearance here. You do see the triple Droll and Lockbird. Are you surprised to know that Droll and Lockbird still is this super good, powerful card? Yes. I also see that we're playing a Proxy F down here in the side deck as well. Mud Dragon. I love when I know my opponent's going to try to play something to try to counterpick me, and we can go ahead and warp on into, this little Mud Dragon and punish the opponent. So overall, not too bad. Next up here, we had Fire Kings. One Ash, one Flamberge Dragon. I feel like that's pretty normal at this point. And then, of course, you have the triple Droll and Lockbird still showing up in here. You do see the Ghost Bell in the Haunted Mansion down here. Ghost Bell has gained a huge amount of popularity this format. Ghost Bell has been a huge keeper in, gatekeeping a lot of today's meta problems, and it's actually really good to see that. Next up here, we have Manadium. Triple DD Crow in the main deck for this. Okay, so we're basically using Crow to supplement and stop a lot more of the troublesome issues that the opponent might be throwing at us. You once again see the reframing being cited. That's been a pretty normal thing at this point. I understand that people want to play reframing in the main deck, but I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it gets you to the necessary value that you want. You would rather just have board breakers and then have it for when you're going first. Next up here, we have Fire Kings. Wow, a lot of fire today. I see that we do have good old double Dia Bellstar. We are actually main decking those Ghost Bells. Holy crap, alright? They wanted to make sure that they had full gas for whatever they were going to run into. You also see, of course, triple thrust in this main deck. A few people were telling me the thrust might not be the best thing this format, but it looks like a lot of the meta is going to disagree on that forefront. Next up here, we have more Rescue Ace. This build's main decking double super polymerization. You want to have the chance to board break your opponent and be able to set up and go for where you need to. We are main decking the double Pinkertops. I feel like that's pretty normal at this point, that you're starting to see double of that. The triple draw, yeah, I don't see anything else. It's going to scream too loudly at me here, but good stuff. And then our last top 8 build here is actually purely, wow, this build's actually playing double leap of all things. I haven't seen a lot of people trying out double leap, but I guess I understand, like, you want to make sure that you can try some of the, you want to make sure you at least have additional regeneration set up. You have the summon limits in here as well. And of course, I see 1 ghost spell and 2 in the main deck. Okay, this is pretty standard stuff. All right, we're going to pass on over to top 16 and top 24. All right, top 16 here, we actually have another Labyrinth list. I'm not going to comment too much on this because this does look a little bit more standard, but I do see over here that we have a Trap Tricks list with triple evenly. You know, it's actually really nice to see that this deck is still getting the chance to see play. We are citing some shifters, summon limits. A lot of those cards are going to help you stay in the current meta and, you know, try to at least stay ahead. And of course, a Gaga Cowboy down here for time. Okay, not too bad. Next up here, Manadium. Hey, look, triple econ. And somebody actually chose to main deck the reframing. When the reframing is the main difference between getting top 8 and top 16, probably not, but I do think it's funny to see that. Our Rescue Ace deck over here on the side, we're main decking 1 Ghost Bell. Wow. The rest of this deck looks pretty similar to the rest of the meta. I see we also have econs down here in the side. Well, econ looks like it's getting a lot of playtime this format. Interesting. Next up here, we have more Manadium for you, and this one also chose, they both chose to play reframing. Actually, both of these decks, look, it's amazing when you put 2 Manadium lists next to each other and you get the chance to just look at things. I mean, 2 to 3 Nibiru's, you have Drolls in one build versus Veilers in another. The option tree that you get for this deck is actually quite amazing, you know, if you want to think about that. So kind of cool to see the differences. Okay, next up here, hey, look, we actually have triple super poly, triple droll. Yeah, that's pretty normal. But we move on over here to this Altergeist pile. Main deck in the Snatch Steal. Most of the ratios on the monsters, I think, look great. Only 1 Siliquido. Somebody's going to complain about that and be like, no, you need 2. I think it worked out. Like, they did make top 16. You also see the triple Psalm Strike in here as well. And, of course, the Secret Villages in the Metaverse. Now, moving on in to top 24 here. We have what looks like standard Fire Kings over here on the side. I'm not going to point out too much about that, except for the multiple emollination, 1 in the main, 1 in the side. And then, of course, we have Card Scanner Runic over here, making a very, very strong appearance out here. The double messenger piece, 40 cards. This is actually very optimized. I like this a lot. No Pod of Desires makes me sad, but this is a good meta standard here. Next up here, we have Dinosaur Fire Kings. What in the world is this? So I guess they wanted to go ahead and play with a dinosaur package in the deck, giving you some additional filtering options, along with, you know, some synergy for your Fire King stuff, which kind of opens up some interesting little play lines, things I didn't necessarily really consider out here. So that's actually kind of cool to see. And then, of course, we have another standard Manadium list over here on the side. All right, and then our last little bits here, we have Dragon Link. Ah, yes. Somebody actually did play the old classic, summon out the vanilla monster, make the Ib, go down full combo lines, so you could do your thing. I wish I had more of this picture here, but it looks like we are playing Succession and the Revive. We are playing one of the Dragon Maid Trap. Okay, that's pretty standard. Over here on the side, we have Flaunderies with, of course, the powerful No Fun Allowed cards. Okay, looks pretty cool. And then last but not least, here we have the For Hire squad with the Runic base. You want to make sure that you can get all that filtering options. that you want out of the main deck here. So I had the mini Sprite package to get into the Smashers for the immediate out. Yep, that's pretty standard. And then over here we have Orcust with our branded package. We've seen quite a lot of degeneracy kind of, floating around with this, but the Orcust runic build feels like it's more of a gold standard for this meta. So, a lot of information out of this event. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.